Hi everyone, welcome back to Engineering in Production. Today we are going to discuss why transactional can silently break your Spring Boot application in production. So in this video, we will break down how transactional actually works, why it silently breaks production databases, and how to use it safely. Most Spring Boot developer thinks transactional makes their code safe. Before moving ahead, let's understand what it does. So it opens a new database connection, starts a transaction. Keep it open until the method finishes. That means your database connection is logged for the duration of that method. Let's look at very common production example. At first glance, this code looks completely fine. It is clean and readable. But internally, something very different is happening. The moment this method starts, Spring open a database connection, and that transaction stays open until the entire method finishes. So while this external payment call is happening or this heavy processing is running, your database rows are still logged. Other transactions are waiting. Read queries may block write queries. Now, even if you understand transactions well, there are few traps that still catch teams in production. The highlighted code looks perfectly fine. This method is annotated with at the rate transactional and you expect a transaction to start. But in reality, it doesn't. Here's why. Spring applies at the rate transaction using proxies. So when a method is called inside the same class, that call never goes through the proxy. So in production, no transaction is getting created for the save order method and no rollback will happen and partially data may be saved. The second trap is transaction propagation. Required means join the existing transaction or create a new one if none exists. Now compare that with required new. Required new suspends the current transaction and starts a completely new one. So we need to be careful while selecting the propagation for a transaction. Most developer feels that any exception can cause a rollback, but that's not true. By default, Spring rollbacks unchecked exceptions. It does not roll back on checked exceptions. Let's understand how we can fix it. Keep transactions short and simple. Never call external services inside the transactions. Use read only equals to true for read operations. Move heavy logic outside the transaction block. Monitor active connections regularly. So, key takeaways: treat transactions like logs, hold them for the shortest time possible. Let's focus on the given example. We have order service where we have place order method, and inside place order, we have four different methods: save order, charge, send confirmation email, and perform heavy processing. But in this, we use at the rate transactional only for the save order. Then we call external payment service outside the transaction and send confirmation email outside the transaction. And similarly, heavy processing is performing outside the transaction block. So as soon as we hit place order, transaction will open once the order is saved into DB and then it will get closed. Before we wrap up, there are few takeaways that we should remember for production systems. Never wrap long running external calls inside the required transactions. If we have external calls inside the method, so never wrap with the transaction annotation. Use required underscore new as a propagation for operations that must commit independently. Avoid external calls inside the transactions block. Keep transaction short always. And understand your DB lock behavior and thread pool impact before combining propagation modes. Most production database issues are not caused by SQL, they are caused by misused transactions as well. If you ever face this in production, comment below and share your story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more Spring Boot and Java production lessons. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.